So, I've searched videos over and I could not find any that covered this model. This is a 3500 G3500 Chevrolet, and what I needed to do was replace the dash lights. And so this is what you got to look forward to if you're going to replace the dash lights in your Chevrolet G3500. You've got to drop the steering column, and so there's a couple bolts here. I guess first we better start with the dash. It pops off, just typical of all the dashes, although you do have two screws down here, down in the bottom, you'll find them, that you have to remove before you start popping the dash off. And this one, unlike pickups, goes all the way across. And so you get those ones loose down there, and this bottom piece comes out, and then you can get the top piece out, and then you can get to the dash with the 4 bolts. And then we'll go in here and we'll talk about the dash lights, which seem to be a little bit hard to come by. I think I've got a buddy who has them though. So once you and there's enough videos out there to show you how to take the panel apart and make sure you mark your gauges, your needles. I don't know why, it just seems like you would just put them back to 0. But anyway, you finally get down to these little guys right here, and of course they are in these little blue guys. You can see them on here. That one's a blinker, of course. And so get your 9-volt battery, put your couple leads up to it, and it makes you feel kind of cool that you can test these guys. So let's see if I can do this and hold this. Oh, there we go. We got a light. Unfortunately, that's the only one. So, yeah. So I've got my son-in-law. He thinks he has these little guys. So you don't have to go out and waste your money on a bunch of stuff. You just put that back in that little blue socket, wrap the wires around it, and then add you a little bit of solder. Add you a little bit of solder to these points where you snap them off. You just grab these guys. You just snap them off, and then you pull the bulb out and replace it. Put the wires back around it. After you get your new one, wrap your wires back around there and set it on there like that, and get your soldering gun in there and get the wire soldered back to your thing. So yeah, so Chevy G3500, not as easy as most of the pickups. You got to drop the steering column in order to get that faceplate bezel out. And but before you start popping the dash out, you've got 2 bolts down in the bottom. So it's pretty easy once you understand it. And then of course you've got a bunch of plug-ins. So you got there's 2 like old style lighter type of receptacles that you've got to get in there and unhook before you can pull all that out too. So I couldn't find a good video on this, and so I just thought I'd just throw this out there and help anybody else that's trying to. It's not bad once you figure out what you have to do. It looks worse than it is. So there you go.